What is going on, everybody? This is Root Beer is Awesome, ready to give you guys a WWE Monday Night Raw review for tonight, June 20th, 2016, from Phoenix, Arizona. This is a show following WWE Money in the Bank 2016, and I gotta say that the show tonight, I felt that had big potential after everything that happened yesterday on Money in the Bank. We didn't have the greatest Money in the Bank ever, as they just didn't, stop promoting it as. But we actually ended up having a decent show, which culminated with a lot of things that could have been worked on to get today's show really exciting, to set up pretty great feuds for Battleground. And I feel like they just didn't capitalize on everything they could have, or I'm not actually sure if it's just that everything was just so predictable afterwards that pretty much didn't let the show be more exciting than it could have been. Having that said, we started the actual Raw tonight with a little video where we see Dean Ambrose, arriving the arena within a taxi. He goes out. He pays the guy driving the car, and he pretty much stops him afterwards because he forgot the actual belt. So he went back and grabbed it. Now, after that, we get the raw video playing, the pyro and everything, and then we get to hear Dean Ambrose music comes out. We saw we saw two podiums, one for SmackDown, one for Raw. Ambrose started walking into the ring. Then we had Roman Reigns coming out, and the crowd was actually kind of happy to see Dean Ambrose. You heard the "You Deserve It" chants, and Ambrose started speaking about everything that happened yesterday. And you had Reigns come out. They started speaking about that, and Reigns starts telling, congratulating Ambrose, and you know, this thing with Roman Reigns, man, I just don't get what the WWE wants to achieve with it. Roman Reigns saying that he didn't care what the crowd was saying, that he actually felt like congratulating Dean Ambrose, but also he said that he deserved to have a rematch because he actually was the WWE champion, so he was actually waiting to face Dean Ambrose until until you heard Seth Rollins' music hit, and he pretty much went out, pretty pissed off at what he was listening to, and he interrupted Reigns, went to the ring, he struck into the ring, saying that he actually was the one who deserved the title match because he was the actual champion as Dean Ambrose cashed in, and also that Reigns said that they could easily just face each other to determine who had to face Dean Ambrose, who had the right to, but Rollins, as he should have, just said that he never actually lost the title, that he was the one deserving of the actual match because first off he didn't lose the title, second off he did beat Roman Reigns, and third off because he was the champion as Ambrose cashed in. So basically, Shane McMahon came out and he said that the way he did things was that we were gonna have Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins on the main event for tonight's Raw to determine who was going to face Dean Ambrose at the very end, which they didn't say at first, but you could actually understand that they were just setting up the match for the main event at Battleground. Now, after this, we get to see that we're gonna be having Sami Zayn taking on Kevin Owens next, which we get after the commercial break. And there's something about this that I didn't like at first. I was just not sure where they were gonna go with this, and I was not sure how much time they were gonna get. We're gonna give this match, and with the way WWE has been handling things, I was actually scared to see Sami Zayn take on Kevin Owens on a Raw match, just out of nowhere. I was kind of scared, even though I've been calling for a Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens feud. I was just not sure if this was the right way to do it. You see the actual the struggle for both men. Kevin Owens came out limping, which pretty much just tells you how violent the WWE Money in the Bank ladder match was yesterday. And you have both men right there. You start listening about the feud they've been having. How they actually been stopped from reaching their goals because of that rivalry that they have been getting on. We had what I would call a really quick match between them. It's I know both guys can go in, they can give a lot to us. So for me, this was just a really quick match that I knew that Sami Zayn had to win if they wanted to keep this feud going. And actually, in the very end, Sami Zayn did was able to actually get the win after he countered the Owens power bomb into a roll up and actually got the win, which was just the right way to do it. Why? Because that way, you knew you could have Kevin Owens rage at any given second. Let it be tonight, let it be in 1 week, in 2 weeks, and storm out against Sami Zayn and keep this feud going on, while also having him don't lose any kind of momentum, but also having Zayn look a little bit strong by taking the win, but not a definitive win, because as I said, it was a roll-up win, so it wasn't really that much of a big deal. But then Sami Zayn went out of the ramp, celebrating what the win that he just got off Owens. And then it was at that moment when Owens went right behind him to start attacking him, because he was obviously pissed off that he actually lost the match. And they actually had referees trying to separate them, but they keep on fighting as we go into a commercial break. And as we go back from it, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are still brawling backstage, and pretty much that this feud is gonna keep on going. Maybe it is gonna go into Battleground, which is something that I really want to cover, and I will talk about it just after we finish speaking with the main event of this evening. Now, right after Michael Cole says something about they actually talked a lot about the draft tonight. They started promoting it, which is going to be on July 19th, by the way, on SmackDown. On the first SmackDown Live is when we're going to have the WWE draft. And Michael Cole says that maybe it would be best if they actually got into separate shows, that being Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Honestly, I don't know what's going on. Michael Cole said, I'm not sure if they are actually letting us know that they are planning on doing that, but for some reason you could think that it would be cool to see Owens get a shot of his own on one show and Sami Zayn get his own shot at the other one, and have possibly a moment of having both of them being world champions if they do create a second world title. But that's just something that it's not gonna happen. That's something just coming out of in a pretty much perfect world. That's just not gonna happen. And there's no way that we would want Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens being on separate brands, other than trying to keep them off each other, not getting this feud that we all want, and saving it for a later date when they are both in the main event and have them face off in a title match. That's the only reason that it would be best. But other than that, what Michael Cole said, it's just idiotic. Nobody wants that to see that happen. And if you were actually a WWE announcer and you actually enjoyed wrestling, you know that you want to see someone like Sami Zayn face off Kevin Owens, because you know their history, you know that they both can go in the ring, that they're gonna deliver something really interesting for the summer. So pretty much they trying to make Cole sell this as a big fight, as a big thing. They pretty much just screwed it with that con. But anyway, going forward, we heard someone from the past come out after his music hit, and at that moment you would see one of the guys that you actually would not expect, and I would say a guy that actually finished on screen with this draft, and that is John Laurinaitis. John Laurinaitis came back, and he said he was the actual #1 general manager, and Shane came out. They had a small segment right there, and Shane pretty much said that he was embarrassing himself, and John Laurinaitis, started speaking about the people power again, and he went out. Then we had Enzo and Cass come out, and they started a promo, making fun of John Laurinaitis, and we were announced that they were gonna face off the Vaudevillains in a match next, and we were again given, after a commercial break just before the match, that a video showing us Enzo Moore's concussion at WWE Payback, which honestly I just have no clue why they are still showing us this video, man. It was something tragic. We at that moment everything was awkward. It was weird when that happened in WWE Payback. I would understand them showing that at the pay-per-view once or twice just to show us how he actually got hurt, but they overdid it at WWE Payback to the point that we all felt bad, to the point that we just didn't know what to think, and they kept on doing that with on Raw when Big Cass showed up. We saw that when Enzo came back. Now we see this again, man. We just don't want to see that anymore, ever again, for real. But now, at the match that pretty much just all this match did is show you that Enzo and Cass are completely over with the crowd, and the WWE needs to capitalize on that. I said that yesterday on the review and results for WWE Money in the Bank. Enzo and Cass need to win the WWE Tag Team Championships as soon as possible. The New Day is still going strong. The New Day is still liked by the crowd. Their act has not yet gotten stale, but we need to finish it before it actually does. Enzo and Cass are hot right now. They have big momentum, and right now it is the perfect time to give them the WWE Tag Team Championships. And as somebody, as a genius mind, as JD from New York has said, they need to capitalize on them instead of breaking them up with this excuse of the WWE draft. Because JBL said it, the draft can actually, we could see announcers going to different shows, but also this could be breaking up teams, which is something that should not happen. I was talking about it yesterday, that the WWE has built off a really strong tag team division. We actually do have a couple of good and recognized and true tag team wrestlers right there, so there should be no reason as to why any of them should be split within the WWE draft. So we on this match saw, a pretty quick match, which ended up with Enzo and Cass winning after a bada boom shakalaka for the win. After that, we went to a commercial break, and after we came back, AJ Styles came out. He actually started speaking about the Stone Cold podcast, which he was gonna show up after WWE Raw. We saw photos of the events that took place yesterday at Money in the Bank, and AJ started speaking about how he defeated John Cena, but also that he doesn't feel comfortable with the way he did it. And we all knew he was just playing the crowd. He then starts screaming that he defeated John Cena, but also he, stops and says that he actually did not have any clue of what was going on, and he actually calls out both Gallows and Anderson because he says the club owes AJ Styles an apology. So on Anderson and Gallows come out, they actually, AJ starts telling them that they did the wrong thing, that, that pretty much they gave John Cena a reason to actually tell the world that he lost that match because the club showed up. So the club actually, starting with Anderson and then Gallows, both of them did apologize to AJ, but then AJ says that he feels both of them have to apologize to Cena himself. So he calls Cena up, and Cena shows up on the ramp. Cena starts pretty much saying what AJ said he was gonna do. He starts saying that he actually recognizes AJ's victory, but that even though AJ signed the contract for AJ Styles versus John Cena, the actual match was as if AJ had signed John Cena versus AJ Styles with the club. So, the club actually does apologize to John Cena. They start telling him that, AJ is a man of his word, that he actually, didn't have any clue that they were going to interfere, and, that pretty much they just didn't sign the contract, so that was the loophole as to why they interfered, because they didn't say they would not, and in the very end they did. So AJ Styles tells John Cena that he is willing to let John Cena face anyone from the club. So John Cena starts walking towards the ring and says, I want AJ Styles, but AJ Styles stops him and says, you are gonna have anyone from the club but AJ Styles. So you pick, it's going to be either Luke Gallows or Carl Anderson. And at that moment, you see that John Cena says doesn't matter who he's going to face, that in the very end, if he picks Gallows, Carl Anderson and AJ Styles are going to be there ringside, or if he picks Carl Anderson, that AJ Styles and Luke Gallows are going to be ringside, and that whenever they realize that John Cena is going to become the winner in a fair fight, they are just gonna interfere in the match and have him lose. But AJ Styles says he's gonna give John Cena his word that that's not gonna happen. So he offers him a match against Carl Anderson, and also he guarantees that they won't be interfering, and he pretty much takes the opportunity to promote again the Stone Cold podcast, which is one of the reasons why he can be facing John Cena tonight, and also because he already defeated him, and because the club was the one interfering. So the match actually starts after the commercial break. We get Carl Anderson versus John Cena, and John Cena starts getting the upper hand of the match, and he actually, it was pretty much a burial. It would have been a burial had John Cena won, but after the attitude adjustment, the club actually broke up the 3 count. They all AJ Styles and Gallows came in. They started attacking John Cena. So they, Anderson starts attacking too. All 3 members of the club start attacking Cena until you get a magic killer They get Cena up again, and Styles lays Cena with the Styles Clash again. So, you know, pretty much we know that AJ Styles and John Cena are bound to face off again at Battleground. But the thing is, we just don't know what is going to happen. How they're going to handle this match, if it's going to be a grudge match, if they're going to add any kind of stipulation, because they already did AJ Styles versus John Cena with the club not being allowed at ringside. They already did that. So they how are they gonna make it you know stay relevant with a stipulation with that? They just cannot do the same stipulation because it's not gonna work. What will guarantee John Cena that they're not gonna do this all over again? It will be stupid, it will be illogical. So we're gonna have to see what kind of stipulation they actually add to the match on Battleground. Even though it's not been announced, it's obvious they're going to face off again, and it's obvious they are going to have that at Battleground. Now, the next match we were able to get was Zack Ryder versus Baron Corbin. There's just no actual reason as to why this match should be happening. I don't think Baron Corbin will be feuding with Zack Ryder, but all I could think of is thank God it was not Dolph Ziggler again. So we got Baron Corbin taking a win after the end of days, and pretty much this actual match should be something to keep Corbin with some TV time and put him over, but it actually doesn't get you, it doesn't, it just doesn't have any kind of direction. So this was just something to fill in the show and to have Corbin in. So let's just hope that the WWE actually gets some plans going on for Baron Corbin really soon, something that actually gets relevant and gets him relevant. And well, that's pretty much what happened on the match. That there's just nothing of relevance in this match other than the win for Baron Corbin. But after that, we are let know that Charlotte is going to be defending the WWE Women's Championship against Paige, but also we get a video highlight, that tells us that the Wyatt family will be returning later on tonight. So we get a commercial break, and after that we get Paige versus Charlotte with Dana Brooke for the WWE Women's Championship. And something that I actually was forgetting about was that just before the commercial break, we get an interview with Paige backstage with Renee Young, and you have Charlotte and Dana Brooke, coming and interrupting Paige, and Paige says that Charlotte will just not let anyone else have the spotlight, and pretty much Dana Brooke said that it was her fault of whatever happened last week when Paige defeated Charlotte, but Paige just tells her that she'll beat her tonight, and tonight it will be all the fault on Charlotte. So on the match, we get a kind of interesting match. It was an actual it was just another women's match. It was not bad. It was not the greatest. You would actually see some good spots here and there, some kicks, some punches, and you actually had a front superplex, which was pretty much the most interesting part of the match. You also saw a moonsault attempt from Charlotte, but it didn't actually look any good. So the match was actually won by Charlotte. At the very end, Dana was being taken out by the referee, but in the very end, Charlotte was able to win after the natural selection. And the most interesting part of this match was that after this, Sasha Banks came out to the ring to a huge ovation. Dana Brooke actually stormed out of the ring and tried to charge Sasha on the ramp, but Sasha actually just hit her. He went inside the ring. Charlotte tried to escape, but Sasha was able to catch her. She started attacking her. Dana tried to save Charlotte, but Paige came back to the ring and saved her. And, you know, pretty much Sasha grabs the title and she puts it back on the ring apron. And Dana gets, it gets the title back as they both leave. So after the next commercial break, we get the Wyatt family, in which Bray Wyatt starts, his promo. We get a welcome back chant, which is something that is kind of really odd. I am a big fan of Bray Wyatt's work, his character, his promos, his actual in ring work. He is just really good, but the WWE hasn't been able to capitalize on him for the past few years, which is really sad. It appears as if they just didn't know what they have in him, sadly. But all we're gonna do, we can just hope that um, they actually see what they have in him and actually give him the right treatment and the push that it deserves. But as he was speaking, the New Day actually comes out to interrupt him, which honestly I gotta say that I did not like. I honestly just don't like whenever you have a character as serious as Bray Wyatt's supposed to be, some kind of scary or that kind of character, and you have some comedy actual gimmick wrestlers come out as a New Day, because whenever they have their promos and whatnot, it actually doesn't come off as entertaining in my eyes, because New Day starts speaking about about some cheesy stuff, and the White family try to impress you, scare you, and with this eater of the worlds thing. I just don't like that kind of face-offs, but it is what it is. Maybe we're gonna get the New Day and the White family at Battleground. It would be logical after this promo, but they would be cornering themselves in a really bad spot. Why? Because you shouldn't just have the White family come back after all this and have them lose against the New Day, but also if you want to have a big match between the New Day and Enzo and Cass at SummerSlam, you also need the New Day to come out victorious, looking strong at that event. So who knows what's gonna happen? Hopefully, if they do anything, they just save it for a Raw, some kind of a counter, or this was just a one-time thing as of right now, because I just don't think it will be a good idea to have both teams face off at Battleground, since both do need a win at that event. So after that, we get another segment of Make Darren Young Great Again, which, like I have said already, I just don't understand what this gimmick is all about, what they're gonna do, if it's gonna stock, if it's gonna fail with the crowd. I don't understand, but I gotta say that I don't like it. I'm just gonna give it time. I really want to see Darren Young come to the ring and see what he's gonna be doing. I'm kind of tired of this video packages already, but we're gonna see. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it, but I'm gonna give it a shot. And so after this, we get Lana in the ring. Rusev comes out. Titus O'Neil is with Renee Young backstage, saying that he won't let anyone disrespect him and or his family. So he's gonna send a message tonight to Rusev, which is basically what he did. He came out and he started attacking Rusev. They went into a big brawl, which I gotta say I loved. Titus O'Neil and Rusev got really physical. They did look really strong. Both of them, they did look with a passion. They did actually, you saw a kind of Titus O'Neil that was really, energetic, pissed off, concentrated, willing to do anything to actually get some revenge on Rusev. Rusev actually got some kind of punches here and there, but Titus O'Neil looked really strong, and that was until Rusev left the ring. The match didn't even start. The bell was not ringed ever, and Rusev went out. But this was a really great brawl between them. So then, we had to see a Jericho segment with Shane McMahon, which didn't actually was not really anything that you know anything that got anywhere. Was just Jericho exchanging words with Shane McMahon, telling him that he wanted to screw Jericho. He actually called him a stupid idiot. So Shane McMahon just told him that if he ever did that again, he will be in trouble. So Jericho said that he hopes to be on the show that Shane is not gonna run. Shane tells him that he is gonna be running both shows, so he is gonna have to learn to work with him. So basically, that was the actual segment. We also saw The Miz at a video, talking about his movie and whatnot. So we also get noticed that Seth Rollins will be on SmackDown this week, which honestly, as much as I like Seth Rollins, nobody cares about SmackDown right now. SmackDown's not gonna be any kind of any interesting until we get the actual WWE draft on July 19th, and we start with SmackDown being live. But until then, SmackDown is a show that you can miss and nothing's gonna happen. SmackDown used to be really good, but after John Laurinaitis and his Raw Super Show thing, everything went down the toilet. And even before that, you had the draft on 2010 actually just got things bad for SmackDown. Each and every year they started taking the greatest stars out of SmackDown and sending them to Raw, and at that point SmackDown was doing an amazing job of creating stars, of getting them, rising them up to a higher status on the card. But Raw would always be taking them, sometimes misuse them, and at 2010 SmackDown couldn't recover anymore. And at that point, you had the Super Show and the Raw Super Show with John Laurinaitis, and actually, it became the bore fest that we know of right now. So hopefully, after the draft and after SmackDown goes live, it will probably be something that it actually makes you want to watch it a little bit more, because you're gonna have wrestlers not showing up in Raw, or hopefully that's the way it's gonna be. I do understand that the roster being split is gonna probably damage the WWE at some capacity, because if they're not being able to book a good Raw week after week with a full roster, how would you expect them to do it without an actual full roster, with half the roster? But I hope that it actually gets them to work more, and that they actually put more effort into making them better shows. I know that SmackDown in 2 hours live with its own roster, if done right, it can actually be good, because we actually did have that for a long time until 2010. So hopefully they do a good job with that. I don't know what's going to happen with Raw, but again, Seth Rollins will be this week on SmackDown. So there's that. So for the main event, Dean Ambrose came out and started lifting the title. He went into announcing, because he was gonna be commentating on the match. He had Seth Rollins come out, Reigns, they started the match, and in the very end, you would see a really good match. They were giving a lot of time, considering this was a Raw match. You had a good exchange between them, and at the very end, you had a finish with both men being counted out. What's the reasoning between this? It's obvious. They want to do the triple threat for for the title, for Ambrose's title defense. And pretty much after the match, Shane McMahon came out and saying that we needed a number one contender. Dean Ambrose says he would face both of them. It didn't matter. So Shane told him that there was going to be a triple threat now at Battleground between the former members of the Shield. But my concern with this, as I was saying a few minutes back that I would speak about, you are going to have at Battleground a triple threat between three former members of the Shield: WWE World Heavyweight Champion Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, and also, you know, you could be having Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at Battleground. What is this all about, man? What's my own issue with this? You know, those two matches seem really like a big deal to me as a wrestling fan, as a WWE fan. They do seem like a real big deal to me. They are trying to tell us that SummerSlam is the biggest pay-per-view of the summer. They have done that for as long as you can remember. And yes, SummerSlam is the biggest event of the summer. But what are you gonna do at SummerSlam? Then you're gonna have a triple threat between the three members of the Shield that has been a long time in the making. As soon as we saw them and noticed that the WWE did have an idea for them, a plan for them to actually push them and have them become their next big stars, you knew that you wanted the Shield triple threat for the world title at WrestleMania. That did not happen for whatever reason that you want. Let it be injuries, let it be that they just were fearing about pulling the trigger at that point. Whatever you wanted to be, the match did not happen, and it is now being announced for Battleground. What's going to happen at Battleground? You know, it's a matter of waiting and seeing. Same with Zayn and Owens. You know, both matches would be totally big for SummerSlam. They would both tear the house down. I'm pretty sure that you would have a hard time deciding which two of those matches would take match of the evening at SummerSlam. So basically, you are throwing them at Battleground, which is a pay-per-view that, you know, I just don't understand what that kind of deal is. Battleground is just another thrown around pay-per-view, and you have after it the biggest pay-per-view of the summer. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have rematches of both of those. I understand that you could have Zayn versus Owens in a rematch at SummerSlam, but you would have to have probably a stipulation. Same with the Shield. What are you gonna do at that point? You know, how are you gonna keep us interested on those matches? You know, they could easily do a ladder match or something, but you know, how are you gonna do to protect? You know, in the case of the triple threat between Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns, how are you gonna do it to protect all of them and keep us interested in that feud? Because if you see it, you know, you saw Rollins defeat Roman Reigns cleanly yesterday evening at Money in the Bank, which was something really big. AJ Styles couldn't do it. You know, you could argue that Brock Lesnar couldn't do it. You know, Triple H couldn't do it. You know, you've had a couple of guys who have not been able to defeat Roman Reigns. And Rollins just did that yesterday, and he did it cleanly. So that just goes to show you that they do see something really big in Rollins to have him win the WWE Championship off Roman Reigns cleanly. They could have done it in a different way, but they decided to actually go cleanly with it to make him look strong, to make him look like a real title contender, like he actually can win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But also, at the very same moment, you see tonight's result, and you know, you could have had a different scenario, but you had a count out, pretty much a double count out, which guaranteed both of the men going into a triple threat. But that just goes to show you also that they wanted both men to look equal at the very least. You know, yesterday Rollins looked stronger, but tonight they wanted both men to look equally as strong. So how are they gonna do it to make no man of those three to look weaker than the other? That's gonna be a good question heading into SummerSlam. But tonight, after the actual match was, you know, uh, was let know, by Shake McMahon, you had Dean Ambrose taunting both uh, Reigns and Rollins, and just as Roman Reigns was getting up, Dean Ambrose was gonna leave. Pretty much, Reigns stopped him, and as Ambrose turned around, he hit Roman Reigns with a kick and a dirty deeds. He then started looking at Seth Rollins, who was still sitting in the ring at a corner. So he leaves the ring. Rollins gets up, looking stunned, and he grabs Roman Reigns as if he was trying to attack him. But then Ambrose runs back to the ring, attacking Seth Rollins and hitting him with the dirty deeds as well. So pretty much, the guy that looked stronger tonight was Dean Ambrose, but you also could argue that it was just because Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns had come out of a big match that they had just squared off, and they also had a big match yesterday. So Dean being fresh, he could get the upper hand. So that was it for tonight's Raw. Like I said, I felt like it was a pretty bland Raw. You could actually blame that on the excitement that you actually, and the hype that was actually created after Money in the Bank. But for whatever reason, tonight's Raw was just not able to live up to the hype that I had myself created for. And well, I just hope that they actually get something better going on for next week's WWE Raw. So there it is, guys. That is my WWE Monday Night Raw review for today. If you have any opinions on this, if you enjoy what I said, if you agree or disagree with what I said, I hope that you actually let me know in the comments. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll be right here this Wednesday evening giving you guys a WWE NXT review. So this is it for tonight, guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you very soon.